Everyone. Thanks so much for joining me for another hormonology tip. I'm Gabrielle Lichterman, founder of Hormonology, creator of the Hormone Horoscope apps and the Female Forecaster app, and author of 28 Days, What Your Cycle Reveals about your moods, health, and potential, available at Amazon.com in ebook and paperback. Okay, so today I want to talk about something that we all do, whether we want to or not. We go to the bathroom. Do you have a menstrual cycle and ever wondered why some days things seem to be flowing out so much easier? And then on other days, things seem to stay in and won't go out no matter how hard you try? It can come down to the hormones in your menstrual cycle. And the good news is you can predict when your hormones will be impacting your bathroom habits, how they'll be impacting your bathroom habits, and so you can overcome bathroom challenges. So I'm going to break it down for you today and explain how it works. So during the first half of your menstrual cycle, which is the first day of your period, through ovulation, you tend to be flowing out more, meaning you're emptying your bladder and you're moving your bowels more easily. And the reason for this is rising estrogen. As estrogen rises, it has a slight diuretic effect, which means it helps your body release excess fluid. So you're emptying your bladder more easily. Additionally, during these days, the first day of your period through ovulation, progesterone is bottomed out. And that's key to remember because when progesterone is low, it's easier to move your bowels, meaning you're emptying, you're pooping more in an inelegant way of terming it. And it's easier, and your stool is a little softer. It's just easier to pass. So during your period, I just want to add that during your period, you may notice that you actually have loose stool or diarrhea. And researchers believe this is due to a buildup of prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are hormone-like substances that build up prior to your period and help your body push out menstrual fluid. Well, researchers believe that this buildup of prostaglandins may also be pushing out waste, solid waste. So that may lead to loose stool or diarrhea, and it's temporary. So don't worry about it. I actually like emptying out in the first half of my cycle, especially those first few days of your period. You may notice you're urinating a lot more frequently. You're shedding a lot of that excess fluid you held onto during the second half of your cycle, which we'll get to in a second. And you're shedding all that waste, excess waste that you didn't need. I love it. I feel lighter. So I look forward to it, and I just let it happen naturally. But you may want to, you may not be as happy about all that release as I am. I think it's really it comes down to a toilet half full, half empty kind of situation, how you view that. So let's talk about the second half of your cycle. The second half of your cycle is the day after ovulation through the day before your next period. And on those days, estrogen is lower and progesterone is elevated. And when this combination happens, you're holding onto more waste. Your elevated progesterone is holding on to excess fluid. You tend to retain more fluid, so you're urinating less fluid. And elevated progesterone slows down the movement of waste in your digestive tract, slows down the movement of food in your digestive tract. And researchers believe this happens because your body thinks it might be pregnant, that it could have gotten pregnant during ovulation. And so perhaps your body is slowing down this movement in your digestive tract, meaning the solid waste is staying there longer, in order for your body to absorb more nutrients from the food in case you need, more nutrients for two. So what happens is you have this slower movement in your digestive tract, and this can lead to incomplete bowel movements, harder stool, or constipation. Now, if this is the case with you, you may be tempted during this phase not to drink water because you are retaining fluid, but drinking more water can help with both retaining fluid and these harder stools and these harder to pass stools. And that's because when you limit fluid intake when you're retaining water, it creates an imbalance in your cells that actually leads to holding on to even more water. So when you take in more fluid, it helps balance out those the chemicals in your cells that help release water and fluid. And of course, taking in more fluid helps soften stool so it leaves. You also want to add more fiber to your diet during the second half of your cycle. This is why it's so important to know how your hormones are impacting how you go to the bathroom. Because if you have challenges like constipation during the second half of your cycle, you know, okay, this is a time in my cycle when I need to be upping that fiber game. Other ways to soften stool during the second half of your cycle is eating prunes. I think they're also called dried plums now because that's a fancier name than prunes, which seems to conjure images of grandmother. So say dried plums. Whether you eat them whole or have them in a smoothie, because I find they're kind of super duper sweet and kind of gross, weird texture. So you may want to try to hide them. Prunes are a great way to soften stool because they have a natural sugar alcohol called sorbitol in them that reduces that softens stool. So it's a mild natural laxative. And another mild natural laxative, in case you don't like that sweet taste of prunes or dried plums, is rye bread. Rye bread, they found, has a certain type of fiber that creates contractions in the intestines that help move contents along. So that's pretty good. But if you're going to have fiber, remember to have fluid, because if you add a lot of fiber to your diet without adding water, it's just going to make things worse. It's kind of going to become like a brick down there. It's kind of like adding cement. You really want, if you're going to add fiber, you've got to add the fluid, and they work together to move contents along. So to recap, during the first half of your cycle, you tend to move things out. Your body tends to expel more. During the second half of your cycle, it tends to keep things in, hold on to things. And if you have any issues, any health issues that are related to bathroom usage, such as irritable bowel syndrome, you may notice that these symptoms spike right before or during your period. Researchers believe this is due to lower estrogen. If you have a condition that relates to how you use the bathroom, my best suggestion to you is to keep a detailed daily journal about your bathroom habits and where you are in your cycle. And if you notice that your symptoms spike at a certain time, some women may experience a spike at ovulation due to high estrogen. Talk with your healthcare practitioner about it. Bring your journal in and say, okay, my symptoms are spiking at this time in my cycle every month, because you may be able to tailor treatment around your cycle and hopefully reduce the instances of bothersome symptoms. Okay, well, I hope this was all very enlightening for you. And next time you go to the bathroom, think of me. Have you have any more questions? Of course, email me, Gabrielle@myhormonology.com. If you have questions about your cycle, please visit my website, myhormonology.com. By the way, everything I just spoke about, in case I was going too fast, it is a rising estrogen day for me, is in my book. I have detailed all of these bathroom behaviors in my book for you to have at your disposal and your fingertips. So I hope you found this helpful. Till next time.